Welcome to the podcast, Organized Mayhem. We're coming to you from 110 South 11th Street, which is the home of Maria and the Rap Shack. And we are here to talk to you about all things Philadelphia restaurant business and everything in between. I'm Cammie, here with my brother Scott and my friend John Lupa. Here we go. Hi, my name is Cammie, and I am broadcasting on 110 South 11th Street, Maria. And I'm here with Organized Mayhem. And I'm introducing my brother, Scott.
Hello.
And my friend, Lupa.
Hello, hello.
And we are going to be talking about all things in the restaurant business in Philly and everything in between, the mayhem that ensues. So we're going to start off, because we're talking about the restaurant, how everybody got into this weird and wonderful business. Scott, how did you get into the restaurant business?
I got involved. I lived in Old City. There was a little shack in Old City called the Rap Shack. And I decided to buy it. And that was in 2004. So, and I just kept expanding and learning a lot. I taught myself how to cook and just kept on going.
I was going to say, because he's my brother and I grew up with him, and the only thing I ever saw you cook was chocolate chip pancakes.
Chocolate chunk pancakes.
Well, not back then.
Oh, that's a good point.
That is a good point, right? They didn't have chunks
that is a good
back
point.
then.
Yeah.
But
It's a point of contention with Lupa.
Big time.
Ooh. All right, well, we'll get into that in a little bit, because I'm very particular about my pancakes as well. But you self-taught in the restaurant business, and the good thing for you is that you've had a longevity, which in the restaurant business is very, very difficult. How long have you been in the restaurant business?
Since 2004.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah. Learned how to cook a little bit in my fraternity house at Penn State. And then just kept it going.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Okay. And Lupa, how did you get in the restaurant business?
Kind of just by chance. I needed a paycheck. Was the first thing I needed. And then I just found that it was interesting. The first day I was there, we were doing this big festival, and I think Scott was very excited. Me and Scott had a contentious first day, and I go, you know what? At the end of the day, we shook hands. I go, it's pretty cool to work high stress but high fun environment.
Sounds good. What were you doing before?
Grocery stores, and I actually worked in accounting for a small firm in Atlanta called Kate Aspen.
Then how do you think those experiences prepared you for this?
Didn't at all. Totally different world.
Well, he loves his Publix.
I do. Yeah, I worked for Publix throughout college, and when I was 15, I started there. Best grocery store in the world.
Huh.
Sponsor us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. The only Publix I know is in Florida.
And were you not impressed?
Boo!
No.
Boo!
This podcast may end now.
I'm a Trader Joe's girl.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
The Hawaiian.
And so is my
shirts.
wife, by the way.
I love my Trader Joe's. I think it's
What
the
happens
best.
if you want Fruit Loops?
I don't want Fruit Loops. Ew.
Ever?
No.
Your kids never want Fruit Loops?
They wouldn't give them Fruit Loops.
What if you want to make pancakes with Bisquick?
Well, then you could always go to Instacart and
Okay,
get
just
some
ask
Acme
me.
or.
I'll give you that. I'll give you
Trader
that.
Joe's has no brand names.
I'll give you that.
It's
Bisquick
ridiculous.
is how I make them.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that.
Yep.
All right, so Publix for Bisquick. Okay, good job.
How about Coca-Cola?
What about
You
it?
shouldn't be drinking that either.
Well,
Or unless
I
they're a
guess so.
sponsor, then drink it all you want.
Yeah. There we go. I forgot about our sponsor.
Yeah.
So that's how you guys got into the restaurant business. What surprises have you found in the restaurant business?
The staff. I mean, there's nothing like the staff. I mean, every day their problems are my problems, and their problems are crazy. They're, no phones, no this, no that. All of a sudden, I can't find them for a half hour. I mean, I have an expediter who's in the bathroom for 3 hours a day. You know.
Do we know why?
IBS, we're guessing.
I don't know. He brings in headphones to the bathroom, so I have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on in there.
He's also a 16-year-old kid, so
Yeah.
that adds some more questions.
Yeah, it's just crazy stuff going on.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's always something going on in the bathroom. We've talked about this many a times. You know, when I first started in the business, my first year, I couldn't find my staff, and people were breaking toilets in the bathroom, breaking sinks in the bathroom.
And why would they be breaking sinks?
They're doing things they shouldn't be doing in my bathroom. They are
Aggressively.
having some fun in the bathroom on multiple occasions. One time, I had to duct tape the sink because water was shooting out into the restaurant. Pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I know what was going on. That lady no longer works for me anymore.
Well, I think being in the restaurant business, I know when I go to restaurants, and I've certainly, we're behind a beautiful bar, you're mixing alcohol in your workplace, right? That's just a natural part about being, at a bar. And when that happens, Maybe that's why there's the organized and the mayhem.
Correct.
And how do you manage employees drinking at the bar?
Discourage it to the best of our ability.
Yes.
But listen, we're in the business. We're in Philadelphia. I'm from Atlanta. Philadelphia is definitely a drinking city.
So
More so than Atlanta?
Big time.
the
Big
worst words in the restaurant business is shift drinks.
Oh, it's
That's the kiss of
I
death.
don't know what that means.
That means at the end of any shift, they could have.
This is how wild the restaurant business is.
We could have one customer all
Yeah.
day or 100 customers. They think they deserve a shift drink at the end, meaning a drink at the end of their night.
And that's free?
That's free.
Everything's free in the
Everything's
restaurant
free.
business.
Yeah.
To the
Yeah.
Okay.
But not only that, it's a slippery slope. So once it becomes a shift drink, then it's a shot in a drink, and that's considered a shift drink. Then it's 2 shots in a drink. It's unreal. So at the end, by the way, free food, everything like that. So by the end of the day, or the beginning of the day, I'm down $2,000 every day.
In drinks.
I have to make
Yeah.
in drinks and food. So no one cares.
I mean, I'm a lightweight, so I have a glass of wine and then I can't do anything. So when somebody's drinking on their shift, I guess.
Not on their shift. It's after the shift,
Okay.
but it never ends. It just never ends.
I mean, Scott knows this too. To be honest, customers come in if they're a regular. Hey, can I buy the bartender a drink? So there's always this line of like, when is it appropriate to do your first shot? And I think that's a very Philly thing too. And if it's 11 in the morning, you're doing your first shot and you're working a double, how many more shots are you going to do before your shift's over? So that's always kind of a fine line to play.
I actually feel now like a bad person. I don't know if I've ever bought my bartender a drink. Is
Me
that
neither, to be
common?
honest.
Is that a
But
common
no,
thing
it's
to do?
common. Yeah.
I guess if
You've never bought your
Never bought a bartender a drink, but I'll give him a big tip, but no drink.
Tipping? Really?
It's not my strong
We're
suit.
talking about someone who doesn't tip when he gets a haircut.
That's untrue. That's one time, and I went back the next time. She butchered my hair.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, well, because you didn't tip.
Correct. Yeah.
That'll
But
teach
no,
you.
I'm anti-tipping. I'm not tipping. Listen.
Okay.
I was gonna explain this. I
Yeah.
have to explain this. I go to a bartender, chatting them up, always gets a good tip. Server gets a good tip. If you are a takeout place and I call in takeout, I'm not leaving a tip on takeout. I'm coming to get the food.
So someone hands you a beer. They pour a draft
Correct.
beer.
But you guys are talking about two different things. One's a takeout order,
Yes.
and one's
He's comparing takeout to draft beer. He's saying, what's
No,
the difference?
I'm comparing the person who washes your hair to for the haircut.
but they're not washing their hair here, right?
No, they're not washing their hair here.
Yeah.
But it takes 5 minutes to wash your hair if you do it right.
Okay.
Takes a second to pour a beer. But you're going to tip that person, but you're not going to tip the person washing your hair?
Listen, the haircut was $40. I'm cheap. I was like, that the tip has to be included in that price.
But we know the error of your ways,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Like
correct,
now
yes.
you got to
Yeah,
tip
he's
the
cheap.
hair wash.
Well,
you
Scott
gotta
told me he's
either
like,
go to
"You
a
didn't
cheaper
tip." Yeah.
place, right? Or
I only got $10 haircuts my whole life
Okay.
until I went to this fancy place, and fancy is $40 fancy, and $40 for a haircut. That's 4 of my normal haircuts. That's a year of haircuts.
maybe this is just as a woman, one of the most important relationships in my
Is
life
your
is with
hairdresser.
the person, my
Yes.
hairdresser.
Oh my
100%.
God. Yeah.
So I would say tip your hairdressers. Well, that is not what we're going to be discussing on the podcast today. Well, we can go bring it back to tipping your bartender. So also, I mean, I guess like being a woman, I really haven't paid for a lot of my own
No,
drinks,
I
maybe.
understand.
I don't
I
know.
understand.
I mean, I would always tip. I'm a generous tipper. I would tip anybody, but
Well, listen, I don't only think that it's customary to tip your bartender. You want, and this is what we tell our bartenders and our servers. It's an experience.
Create a
Have-
relationship. Yeah.
Create a relationship. Have fun with your guests, and the sky's the limit. Because not only are they going to tip you well, but they're going to come back. You know, you want to tell them your shifts. Hey, I'm here every Tuesday. I'm here every Thursday. Whatever shift they work. The idea is to build relationships. And if you're not doing that, you're not a good bartender. And I tell them that from the get-go.
now when you're at a bartender here, how many bartenders on a busy night would you have behind the bar?
So you have 2 bartenders and a bar back.
Yep.
Over on the Rap Shack side, 2 bartenders right now. Sometimes a bar back as well.
Okay, so there's 2 bartenders here. Is it competitive sometimes between the bartenders? Like
Well,
who gets?
they'll split the
Do they
tips.
split everything equally?
Yep, they'll split the tips.
Is that sometimes an issue?
So this is always an issue. If somebody slips you $100 bill, hey, thanks,
Ah,
a regular at the bar, are you pocketing that? Or are you going to be the honest guy and put it in the tip jar and say 50-50 cash? We've seen bartenders do it both ways.
Yeah.
The bartenders that take the money for themselves, they don't last.
Yeah, I
They
bet.
never do. It's not, you're not really stealing from the company, but you're stealing from your other employees. So
and you've got to, I guess, have a what goes around comes around mentality.
Correct.
That like, yeah, today I got the 100, maybe next time you get the 100.
Correct. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But listen, I imagine, I've never bartended, but I imagine it's a really fun job.
It is fun. Yeah. Listen, it can be stressful too. I mean, you see, people have very specific ways they like their drinks.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we had a person yesterday send back a drink because there wasn't enough ice. It's like, I can't mound the ice over the cup. It's like,
and somebody else could really get annoyed that it's too much ice.
Oh,
it's like you're stiffing me in the.
Yeah, I love my ice.
Yes,
I'm a big ice guy.
Yeah.
So, everyone's different. We talk about this all the time, not just with drinks, with food as well.
What's the most popular drink right now?
Well, over on the Rap Shack side, anything Tito's.
Yes.
There's Tito's for everybody.
Yep.
I mean, every year things change. We talk about beer. We talk about hazy IPAs. This year, the year of the hazy IPA.
This year's the year of the anti-hazy.
Yeah,
like,
I won't let people come in here.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. What is a hazy?
It's
what
like
is a hazy?
basically a cloudier.
It's a cloudier beer. It looks like your
It's
beer
a
has
West Coast.
sediment.
It's really a West Coast IPA. So now everyone knows that everyone hates hazy IPAs now.
So now they call it West
Coast IPA.
Yeah,
So they just kind of changed the name. And now I'll buy a West Coast IPA just because they changed the name.
Correct.
If you're going to be creative, fine.
Now, after the pandemic, I know it was hard to get certain things. I remember you would set me out for a wild goose chase for apple pucker. Is that still a popular drink?
Not only, apple pucker is a cordial, but you couldn't find it. You couldn't find, I sent you out also for Espolón. Espolón, you couldn't find anywhere.
Yep.
It's crazy.
We're still dealing with a lot of that.
Now it moves to other drinks. You can't find Buffalo Trace, which is a bourbon, in Philadelphia. It's wild. Like, you can't, and if you find it, you can only buy 2 bottles of it.
And so do customers, are they been flexible about that? They order something else.
It's not so popular, but if you know Buffalo Trace, it's a good, not the highest end liquor, so it's affordable, and so people really like it. We can't get it, so what can you do?
What's your favorite cocktail on the menu right now?
The favorite cocktail on the menu right now, the Cafe Diablo, I would say.
I like the Cafe Diablo. I like the Indulge. It's a little bit, it's not too sweet, but it's kind of in the middle.
What is it?
It's called the Indulge. It's one of our draft cocktails. It's super popular. To me, it tastes the best.
What's in it? Get a menu.
Get a menu. Yes.
There we go, buddy boy.
Oh, thank you. Of our 2025 here. Let's see.
All right. What's it called?
Indulge.
Indulge.
That's on the draft. Right over there.
Tequila, gin, triple sec, St. Elder, lemon, butterfly pea agave.
So I'm sure the question is going to come up. What's butterfly pea? That's actually a tea that gives it a blue coloring. Kind of weird. Yeah, it's very popular.
One of the things that's very popular at Murray is the look of our drinks, and there's 2 different avenues that we have here. We have the Rap Shack, where people just want good, strong drinks. It's more of a neighborhood bar that people love, and it's been around for 20 years. And then over here, they want the beauty. They want to TikTok the pictures. They want everything like that. So it's a totally different atmosphere. Here we get 80 people TikToking a day. Over there, a couple here and there, but it's not that type of bar. People just want a low key atmosphere, and they're both great. They're both fun.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, it's a great part about being at a restaurant. You get to see relationships bloom.
Very true.
And let's talk a little bit about the restaurant business and relationships. Let's talk about office romances. Like in a typical corporate place, there's not a lot of office romances.
Well, I'm married.
Yeah,
so,
I'm married to my best friend.
Yes, I am married to your best friend, and also, while I do, every once in a while, someone does say something to me, I'll call my wife right away. I'll be like, hey, just letting you know this happened, that happened, and it's the business. She's been with me 20 years.
It's good to still be hit on, even if you're married. Feels nice.
Hey, I told you on the way in here, right? Someone said, "Damn, your ass looks good." I was like, "Oh, thank you."
well,
I'm so insulted.
What's so weird is he said the same thing to me earlier.
Don't tell me that.
Well, on my end, the restaurant business. Listen, it's a fun place. You're going to get hit on. People are going to ask crazy stuff. I don't want to say she was 65, but maybe in that range. in that
65
range.
to new 50.
Yeah. Well, she asked if she could show me her boobs.
Some 65-year-old boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
She did show them,
oh, okay.
and then asked if I wanted to feel them.
And
I said no.
oh, okay.
We draw a line somewhere.
We have through the lines.
Wait, so just let me get it straight. Was it full restaurant at that time when she asked to show your boobs?
She did it towards the bathroom.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
In that little hallway there.
Yeah, in that little
Were they
hallway.
nice boobs?
They actually were.
Yeah.
Definitely some work done.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely a little work done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Good for
right.
her.
Okay. So back to office romances. There's some things you can control and some things you can't control. And I'm going to turn my head this way.
Yes.
And there's an office romance that you would like to speak of?
Yes. Yeah. I actually I got married to my office romance,
Mhm.
I was a manager and she was a bartender.
Somehow this is my fault.
This is 100% Scott's fault. I was in between apartments. I was staying at his old restaurant on 18th Street. I was staying above it in a little apartment. And we were sitting, it was New Year's Eve, 2017. We were all drinking. And Scott, Lara had said, hey, do you want to come back to my place? Scott was like, yeah. Go back
Still
to her-
mine,
go-
I guess.
yeah.
Yes.
go back to her place. And I was like, okay. Went back. And then honestly, the first 6 months we were together, we didn't spend one night apart.
Very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Very
And now we are married.
But I'm sure that's not something that you would like to have here. Office romances are a little
Well,
tricky.
to be honest with you,
If you get married, what can you do?
Yeah, married
Yeah.
is good. Married is great.
so he denied that he was with her,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually found out from another employee that they were living together, and I knew about it. And I kept on asking him, like, "Oh, how's Alara?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not with her anymore. That was just a
I never
short-term
said that.
thing."
I would say good. You go, you dating? It's always-
That's not exactly how it went.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I'm like, I've known about this for 6 months, right?
Well, again, that's not exactly how that went. We were sitting in the car, and I just got back. I go to Atlanta for Christmas, and get back, and we're driving somewhere, Restaurant Depot or something. And Scott goes, "How's Atlanta?" Good. He goes, "Where's Alara been? So was she on vacation too?" I go, "She was in Atlanta." He goes, "You're both in Atlanta?" So yeah, we were together.
Uh-huh.
He's like, "Oh, I knew."
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's definitely very tricky. Listen, you guys have a great relationship, even though there's a lot of bickering going on, fun bickering. But at the same time, like when you have an office romance, sometimes
It's complicated. Yeah.
something has to go. So
Of course.
I actually, Lupa, I'm going to spring this on you.
Okay.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I found a little something out just a couple minutes ago.
Oh goodness.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you and Scott ever take a break from working together?
Yes. Yep.
What had, because he sees it differently than you see it, I think.
Well, there's truth and there's not truth.
Okay. So give me your truth.
Listen, I was having a couple medical problems. Scott was very forgiving of it, and we were over here.
Forgiving meaning fire him.
No, well, listen.
You fired him for medical issues?
That's what he's saying.
Oh,
It is true.
okay.
So I was over here.
I was going to say, you'll be in trouble with mom. But go ahead.
We weren't. We were just opening up the Rap Shack. I think it was grand opening was a day away, right?
Yes.
Okay. Grand opening was the next day.
Oh, that could have been my fault.
This is 100% your fault.
This-
Scott and I are over there. I'm supposed to have this diet. I'm on this medicine, and we ate. Okay, and no lie, 40 burgers.
We were testing out burgers the night before.
And so we had to eat them.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
40 pounds. Literally, it was probably half-pound burgers.
Yes.
10, 20 pounds of ground beef. Then we did chicken sandwiches. I felt so sick. I just remember going home and feeling sick. I was out of commission for like 2 weeks. And Scott was like, "You missed that. You're done."
Missed the opening party,
You're
everything.
done.
So I figured he quit.
No, he called me and goes, I was like, "Hey, sorry, man." He's like, "Yeah, you missed this big opening. It's over." It's like, okay, whatever.
That never happened.
I got a construction job. And then Jose, who's his longtime cook, calls me and goes, "Scott's going to call you today." I was like, "What do you mean he's going to call me?" Scott called. He's like, "Hey, how you feeling?" He tried to play it off like, "Oh, very, yeah.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. So then I came back to work, and we haven't had an issue since.
Well-
Other than this lie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Please tell her.
I mean,
Yeah.
All I know is Scott said, Lupa
I mean-
thinks he was fired.
Yes, go ahead.
yeah, he wasn't feeling well. He had no idea. He didn't show up for 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
2 weeks. But
No, it was like 4 weeks. And I'm like, okay. I even named a rap after him. I came up with a rap called the Lupa, and I
we need
and I,
some,
and I, and I
people on
named
here.
it after him, just because I figured, he was gone, but he was a good guy, whatever. And,
Does that sound like
never
your
gonna see
brother?
him again. And that's what happened.
Wait, what is in the Lupa? Do you know?
It's the greatest rap.
I came up with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
what is it?
You think it's yours?
Breaded chicken, fajita sauce, pico de gallo, chipotle mayonnaise, and cheddar cheese.
You and I have very different dietary
absolutely.
tastes.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
between the Fruit Loops and now this, between
Listen,
Fruit
there's-
Loops and then that.
The
There's two
only
very
reason
different
why
body types.
the only reason why I named a rap after him, because I already had a rap on the
Which is?
It's the Scott Lewis.
And what's
So
in
let
the
me
Scott
ask-
Lewis?
And the only reason why it's called the Scott Lewis, not the Scott Hockfield, is because no one would be able to pronounce Hockfield.
Hockfield. Okay, so what's in the Scott Lewis?
It is chicken,
Okay, what kind of
Ba-
chicken?
grilled or
Okay.
breaded, whatever you want to do.
All right.
Cheddar cheese, American cheese, onions, bacon, and either barbecue, buffalo, or a blend. Phenomenal.
Mushrooms.
Oh, mushrooms too. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
I forgot about the
So
mushrooms.
the guy created my wrap, but doesn't know his own. That's suspicious. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So that's on the Wrap Shack side, and we can talk about, coming up with the menu. And so for me, who I do try to eat a little bit healthier, and this is my spot to go to before I go to the Academy of Music to see a show. So when I come here, I usually get a salad. No, it's not so healthy. I do get the cauliflower pizza,
Mhm.
and I like it. But what are like?
Well, one of the things that's great about this podcast is that as we are going on with this podcast, we are going to actually be introducing new products, new entrees and drinks that we are actually developing right now. So we're pretty excited about that to show everybody like the different things that we're doing. We renovated our kitchen. Thanks to our customers, we've been doing pretty well for the last 3 years, even during a pandemic. So we're ready to expand our menu and do some cool, interesting things.
How do you think the pandemic has affected the restaurant business in general? Now things are back to normal. They're lasting effects, you think, from the pandemic
time.
to
Yeah.
what are they?
To me, the idea of going out to watch a sporting event in a big group, I think that's kind of dead. We even saw for the Super Bowl in 18. I mean, you were 6 deep at the bar. There was 100. It was the most rowdy, fun time of all time. This time was definitely people want to be a little more separated, I felt like, or watch it at home more.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I also think that people are, especially now, hopefully we're not, but maybe going into a recession, things are scaling back a little bit. People are a little cost conscious. So it's really just getting the right menu for liquor and for food that people like, and just really trying to figure it out. And that's exciting for both of us. We
I
actually,
love that.
the menu composition and the drink composition of what we think people like, or what we want people to like here, is kind of the fun part of the business. We'll make our mistakes, but then, what's great, and this is why I like being an active owner. If I think it's not working, I'll change it really fast.
Right.
And that's one thing that Lupa says to me all the time. He's like, if we try something, one of my biggest mistakes we ever did was here. It wasn't my fault. Nothing's ever my fault, as you'll know. But the pandemic happened. We were going to do a grab and go refrigerators in this cove over here, and bought all these refrigerators, spent a ton of money.
It was a big my idea too.
Yeah, it was a great idea for a place that's not in a pandemic. But when Jefferson Hospital is not allowed to go anywhere for the pandemic, we thought it was really geared towards them. I spent a couple $1,000s on food. I sold I think
Two sandwiches.
two sandwiches.
One salad.
You live and you
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
So I ended up selling the refrigerators real fast, put some seats in, made back my money, and called it a day. But it was a disaster.
Yeah.
We not only that, this was another crazy
Opening
idea.
at 7 a.m.
Well, no, I put garage doors inside a restaurant. So imagine in the middle of a restaurant, you're in a fine dining restaurant, all of a sudden you hear a loud garage door going up and down. It sounds idiotic, and it was, so we stopped it.
Yes.
I get where it comes from, though. There's something cool about the garage door look, and that's
But that
a
garage
thing.
door stays down and goes down.
Yeah.
We were actually bringing it up and down until it broke.
Mhm.
Now I keep it here as a
Reminder.
As a
reminder
reminder.
of the dumbest idea I came up with in 20 years.
At least he's admitting it's a dumb idea. What's
Yeah.
been the biggest disagreement? What is right now the biggest disagreement that you have about the business, about the food or
Sips. Yeah. That's the current
what
disagreement.
tips?
No,
Sips.
sips.
So
What
there's 3 sips. It's every Wednesday.
Okay.
They do these deals in the city, but
Scott
really,
likes to schedule. He thinks it's the busiest day of the year.
Okay.
Every
On
Wednesday.
tips, Wednesday tips?
Every Wednesday, hear the same story.
Okay.
Go ahead, Scott. Yeah.
that is a fucking lie.
This guy. the first week of
all I
February.
say is
It's
that
sips. You can't
that we
really-
get 10 people here, maybe, and then afterwards we get a little busy. But it gives we have to be available, and we have to have a good vibe. That's all I say.
So
He takes it to another
I
level.
very rarely win one of these Dave's arguments.
Okay.
He is the owner,
Okay.
and it makes sense that
Okay.
he should win. But
your opinion, your strong
I
opinion.
have an opinion about everything, but one opinion that finally paid off is we switched our mozzarella sticks at Rap Shack, and Scott admits they're better. And I'm like, I fucking got him on this.
I had thick battered mozzarella sticks. I was adamant that those were the best.
20 years.
Yeah, but one of my favorite places, our favorite places, when we used to go to 18th Street was O'Shea's on 20th.
Nice plug for O'Shea's.
Yeah,
No, they're out of
they're out of
business.
business. They're out of
Dave's
business.
dead.
Yeah, Dave is no longer, but he actually taught me a lot about talk about mentors. Dave O'Shea and Jay from Rachel's Noshery, which is no longer as well.
Oh.
They were right on that block, but we call them the old timers. They actually kept me in business at the Rap Shack at 18th Street.
They all started drinking at noon.
Yeah, when I first started to be a bar, you're not busy. And all the old timers, I like to call them, they used to drink at bars that weren't busy. And one day Dave goes to me, he's like, "We're never coming back." I'm like, "What'd I do?" He goes, "You got too busy." He's like, my staff knows we're here, so we're going to the next do bar.
Yep.
I actually think that's really nice that you had a mentor in the city. Do you think that restaurant owners in general, the restaurants here, there's a camaraderie, or is it more, or I guess it just depends on.
Well, listen, I think some owners, and I've dealt with this. I've dealt with this on the 18th Street a lot, where they're it's me against them, and very cutthroat. And then there's me, and a lot of the people.
We're very friendly on the
block. Yeah, I have a very good relationship on 11th Street. I'm friendly with the Top Tomato guys, and I'm sure we'll get them on the podcast. And very friendly with the Milk Boy guys.
Mm-hmm.
One of the general managers, Corey, tells me about the weather and how we're going to do every week, and he's never right.
He actually thought, I think, before Maria that we were going out of business at the Rap Shack, and then Scott the next week buys Maria.
Yeah, so he has no idea what he's talking about, but he's a great guy.
Great guy.
That's nice to hear.
Well, he does very well over there because he under orders what he needs and then borrows it from us. So it makes him look good.
Yeah, but it's nice to hear. Like, have you been a mentor to anybody you think it was coming up in the business?
To Lupa.
That is me. Yes.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Lupa.
No, honestly, it's funny. I work for corporations, Publix, DeBruno's, all these bigger corporations, and I always thought the smaller I went, the closer you'd be to understanding how they did things. And so at DeBruno's, you're still so far away from the money, I guess, that it's hard to really figure it out if you're just trying to learn. And Scott was the first person ever to go, "Here's how I do everything." Really open up the books to me. And so, yeah, he is my mentor.
That's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. Also, fuck him. But
that is what it is.
Yeah, he got me in this terrible business. But.
Yeah, I do feel bad sometimes, because I am actually going on a vacation in a couple of days. And, yeah, his life's going to suck.
Yeah. I'm sure.
There's no doubt.
So when you are on vacation, can you disconnect from this place? I mean,
oh no, but I've always said to Sherry, my wife, I would always be like, when she would see me on the beach in Margate or wherever I am, she would be like, "You're still involved in the business." I'm like, I have a drink in my hand. I smell the beach down the shore.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Lupa. He doesn't like the expression "down the shore," but we are Philly kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Down the shore.
Down the shore.
And I'm fine. I can answer any question. I always say, and I even said to Lupa yesterday, I go, tell me what the problem is, and I'm very hands-on. I'll find it. One of the problems I hate about this business, when you think about the things that bother me the most about this business, everyone, all the staff, all the time, "Oh, we're out of this, we're out of that, we're out of this." I'm like, "It's over here, it's over there." They're calling me from the beach, and I know exactly where it is. Why can't they look? So that's if you talk about a complaint I have with my staff, is that they'll look at one place. Well, listen, things happen.
Different
look
prep
around.
guys are taking
Look around.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
I think sometimes when it's your kitchen, I know, like, if my kids are at home and they open up the refrigerator and it's like
there's
standing,
no
whatever.
Yeah.
It's right
It's
there.
behind there. Yeah.
Right. It's right there. Just move things around a little bit. I think that's just sometimes.
So they wonder why I get in a bad mood. Maybe I do get in a bad mood a little bit. But open your fucking eyes.
Do you think is he a moody guy?
Yeah. Listen, if Scott very recently hasn't gone like this, but he used to have quite the temper.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. When I was at 18th Street, so
You got to tell the plate story.
Well, one of my
Yeah.
favorite stories, my first year, my kitchen staff and my front of the house staff were screwing up everything. So they weren't labeling the wraps. You got to label the wraps or else we don't know what they are. So I started throwing them against the wall. I'm like, that's a buffalo chicken. Make it again. And then, I started throwing plates. This was a Friday during lunch. And I'm like, you guys stink. I'm like throwing plates, not at anybody, but like at the wall. And then, so dinner time comes. This was during lunch. And we used to do a slam in lunch. Dinner time comes. And I'm like, guys, we need plates. So like you threw them at everybody during lunch. So I had to, we're just opening up and I'm doing paper plates. I'm giving people napkins with paper plates.
You had to run the restaurants.
And I ran to the restaurant store to get more plates in the middle of a busy dinner. And and I realized, from now on,
no plates.
No throwing plates.
Again,
no one got hurt
yeah,
doing that.
There's nobody was injured during this. But
Not that I know of.
I just started this TV show called The Bear, and The Bear is about the restaurant business.
Correct.
And there's a certain, I think what I like about the show, there's a tension in this kitchen.
Always.
There's relationships that are forming in the kitchen, these like beautiful
Oh, yeah.
relationships unfolding, but attention.
Oh, big time.
And certainly with that show is about a chef.
Mhm.
And
Well, the chef is never wrong, and the server is never wrong. So
And
It's
the,
even-
and the expos caught in between that, and then
Mhm.
the managers caught in between trying to manage these 3 different sectors, and also the drinks are late.
right. But I was
so-
going to ask you guys that too, because like, so as a patron, right, when the service is slow,
Mhm.
is it,
Short-staffed. I would say
Short-staffed.
95% of the time. Short-staffed.
and that's not the waitress's fault or the kitchen's fault.
Well, correct. But how I look at it is, like you can have one server who's an all-star who can handle the whole restaurant. But if you hire, you got to know your scheduling. Like if you have one server who knows slow or one bartender is slow, put somebody on.
Yeah.
And that causes issues because they go, why do I have to have 2 people on a Tuesday and on a Friday this guy's by himself?
Yeah.
but also you need servers who are aware. If I'm out
Yes.
with my buddies on a Friday night, and if the server's not engaging and understanding, hey, these guys are out to drink, and that's fine.
Mhm.
Got to get to them a little faster. Got to get those drinks in a little faster. That's the way it is. If our parents were out to dinner, hey, they're not drinking,
Yeah.
but get that food, make sure that food's not
Yes.
taking 3 hours to get there. So you got to know, and this is where the servers really have to step it up. And, unfortunately the chefs, they don't know what's going on out
Right.
here. They're scared of the front.
They don't even
They're
come
not,
out here.
they don't come out here. They don't want to come out here. I mean, that's my job to just gauge where everything is and talk to the customers. So, it's really just a disconnect.
Is your chef a diva?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Everyone in here is a diva.
Okay.
It's crazy.
So I order something, and
The only non-diva in the restaurant business is the bar back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He knows what
Or
he's
the
in for.
dishwashers usually.
Yeah.
Pretty,
so I order something, and it's I don't like the way it's prepared, and I send it back, which I actually
Mhm.
never do.
What are you?
This
What are
is-
you?
Listen, you know what? The honest, everybody wants to know what we're doing to the food.
Yeah.
Listen, we are in the customer service business. You
Mhm.
send something back, Amy, we understand. I don't like some stuff too. Dump the plate out, make it again. Now, where the issue comes in, the chef goes, I already made it once. You're like, hey, I need that fucking plate now. It's for a customer. I already made it once. I'm not going to make it again. And you're like fighting with.
Oh, I love when they say
Yeah.
they're not going to make it again.
Yeah.
Well,
Then
what do you
you're
want to
fired.
do?
Then you're
Right.
fired.
Yeah. I mean, and that happens.
More than you would believe.
Yeah, it's especially during restaurant week, which is a big thing for us, which is in September. I think it's September 10th, 20th anniversary or 25th anniversary of restaurant week, which is pretty crazy. So we'll.
New York shrimp.
Yeah,
short
we
rib,
already are
ravioli.
starting to work
Yeah.
on that.
On restaurant week.
Yeah, restaurant week is
Big time.
12 days where the servers hate the chefs hate everything, and but we have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to see a business thriving and be packed, and that's what we're all here for. We're all here to have a fun time, but in the end of the day, make money and do great customer service. So
Listen,
That's
and
what
it
we
seems
do.
like obviously you've got a chef that's been here for a long time. You've got Lupa who's been here for a long time, right? Like, so obviously you're doing something right to keep your staff happy, but at the same time, it's still a business, and it's tough to make everybody happy. It's tricky.
There's unbelievable turnover in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
I think we have retained more employees for longer than a lot of places. But still, we'll go through. I mean, a crazy fall, we'll go through 20 servers.
Well,
What's the quickest fire that's ever happened? Quickest fire.
The lady filling out her application.
Oh yeah,
You're not.
yeah. No, but at 18th Street, this was actually great. I had a guy from Dave O'Shea at O'Shea's. He's like, my guy wants to work part time. Were you with me at the time?
I remember this.
So he was cooking with one hand. I'm like, everything okay with your other hand? He's like, yeah, I like to just cook with my other hand. I'm like, yeah, doesn't work for me. And he said to me, he goes, I can cook faster with my one hand than you could ever cook with your two hands.
See you later, buddy.
I go, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he could have. How do you know?
Impossible.
No, impossible.
Yeah, impossible.
So I am the fastest.
You're the one-handed guy. Come back. I want to see.
I am the fastest.
If you are him.
If you are him, I'm curious.
I actually am the fastest cook you'll ever see,
Ugh.
but it is disgusting. It will take, so I could cook beyond fast, but to clean up after me,
It's a
Right.
nightmare.
it's a nightmare. And I don't like to clean.
For every hour of Scott cooking, there's 2 hours of cleaning behind it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Roughly 2.5.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
it's pretty bad. It's not for me.
Is there more than one chef back there? I mean, I'm sure there's.
So for Maria,
Yeah.
we have a chef, a sous chef, and then there's 3 cooks under him.
Okay.
At Rap Shack, it's not really chef type food, but it does require some kind of like head cook or supervisor type position. We have a guy that's been with Scott 13 years.
Yeah,
Does
that's
that.
great.
And we have a salad station, we have
Yeah.
a cook station. We sell a lot of fried foods as well, which I'm not eating right now because I'm on a life-changing experience.
Oh yeah, don't say the word.
A life-changing experience.
My
Right now.
sister-in-law is working very hard to try to make her husband healthy.
It's working.
Right?
I've lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Also hair though too, man.
A little hair,
Okay.
a little
Yeah.
gray hair, but you're
Yeah.
getting with some gray hair still.
I'm
you know?
aware. Yeah.
So
All right, but we can also talk desserts. I mean, like on the other end of the spectrum, what's your favorite dessert on the menu?
we have a cookie cake that topped with ice cream, powdered sugar,
Chocolate
chocolate sauce
Mm.
that is homemade and just phenomenal. And
That
we
your
sell a
favorite
ton of
too?
those.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds
that is-
right up my alley.
Yeah, that is really good. We also we make deep fried Oreos. So we don't make the Oreos itself homemade. That would be a little intense, but we dip it in funnel cake mix, put it in the fryer, and people love it.
So being in the restaurant business, when you go out to eat, do you find it difficult to enjoy your meal? Are you present in the moment? Are you thinking
Very difficult.
very
I would
difficult?
say. It
So how
depends.
so? Are you critical? Are you sensitive? Are you more sensitive? Are you more critical?
You know, it's back to what Scott was saying. Some of the most fun part is menu development. As we're trying these things that these cooks are we're going a little more salt. Take this away, add this,
Uh-huh.
and so you have a lot of control. You go out to eat, and these places think they've perfected it because they're
Yeah.
thinking just like we think.
Right, sure.
And it's very hard to get to your taste buds where you're like, that's exactly what I thought it was going to
Well,
be.
look at you and I. We
Yes,
wouldn't enjoy the same
correct,
foods.
exactly.
Well,
sure.
like I said, even with the menu development we're doing right now, so we are introducing, and we will show this in future podcasts. We're going to put a bourbon salmon on the menu, and it's phenomenal.
Ooh, that
Really
sounds
good.
good for
Yeah,
me.
Really
but then we tried a chicken dish that and this is where you talk to the chefs, and they take offense to it. They're like, "What do you think of the chicken dish we gave out?" I'm like, "Yeah, no."
So you say it like that,
Yeah.
and then they go 20 minutes later. They go, "So the chicken dish, when's it
Yeah.
going on?"
Right.
I didn't.
I'm
I-
sure
I-
it's
I
very
go-
sensitive.
Oh.
And I go, never. They're like, "Well, we could tweak this." I'm like, it was so off that no.
I actually
we're
say
over it.
I'm not even in the business, but I have a thin skin only about one thing, and that's my cooking, right? Because
Really?
a lot of love goes into my
Exactly.
cooking.
Yes.
So I'm proud when I work hard and I try, if I'm just like making a run of the mill dinner, but I care about
Correct.
that. But if I'm having a lot of people over, and like sometimes, like our mother, like so I'll make soup and she'll say, "Did you put salt in the soup?" And I'm
Oh,
like,
God.
"Salt? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I totally forgot about that."
Yeah.
Right? But and I can feel a little bit.
There is a big connection.
Yeah, it hurt.
It's crazy. As a chef, you're cooking for hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And the favorite thing is when you know they're really rocking and they're getting good compliments, they'll do the dishes and they'll go like this from their heart. They'll go
Yeah.
a little bit my heart in.
Oh, that's nice to know.
So it's funny when they're really killing it. They
So,
really get into it, and it is connected to love.
so
Yes,
our
I
chef
see.
on the Rap Shack side, which is kind of funny, listen, he's great. He's been with me 13 years. He just put in a Jose burger.
Okay.
So he takes such pride and love, and
It's a
just
30-minute burger.
It's a 30-minute burger to cook. Takes forever, but it's really
It's
good.
really delicious.
And
Yeah.
I'm joking about 30 minutes,
Yes.
but I've just never seen someone take such love about this burger and everything else. He's boom, 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 real fast.
Yeah.
And he
lays out the
takes
bun.
Such
He,
pride, such
Oh,
pride,
I love that though.
such pride, and that's great. It's great for him, and he takes a lot of pride in it. But at the end of the day, I go, you can't cook like this for everybody.
Yeah.
Like for me, I asked him to cook me
Slops
something.
together
Within
some chicken,
2
yeah.
seconds, he has it ready.
Sometimes it's equally as delicious.
True,
Oh,
very true.
it's great. He's a
Yeah.
great chef. But
I actually just had one of his. He makes me my own egg wrap,
Yeah.
and I loved it.
Yep.
Delicious.
well, that is actually
Our prep
George Jorge. We have about 6 Georges, about 7
4
Jose's.
yeah. 5 Annas.
Yeah, no, Anna's like a popular
The
name
biggest
these
name,
days. It's
yeah.
really ridiculous.
Mhm.
So I can't get them right. So doing the scheduling is a little annoying. So
And scheduling sounds like it's such an important part.
It's huge.
Right.
well,
And it's
Lupa just took it over, and he's very happy about
Are you? Is that a skill that you have honed? Do you think is the scheduling?
So listen, doing schedules at other places, it was just kind of this thing. You sit down, you do it, and there's all these systems to help you. This is a little more free flowing. The cooks, they've had schedules forever. I don't even write them a schedule. I don't text them. Everybody shows up when they're supposed to show up.
Mhm.
The servers are different animals.
Yeah.
And the bartenders, they're very finicky. They're working for tips. They all want their days. They all have. It's the summertime, and we're dealing with a younger group that, hey, well, I'm at the shore this day. I'm at the shore this day.
Mhm.
It has been a nightmare.
A nightmare.
Yes.
Well, one of the things I like to add to Lupa's misery a little bit.
Yes.
So he's also my catering manager and my private party manager. If you ever need a private party or catering, his phone number.
We just did a 80-person catering for UPenn rowing, and I think they won.
Oh, good.
There
All
you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rap Shack spurred that on.
Yeah. So John Lupa, if you ever want to talk to him personally, 215-681.
I would, just to say, like, what's your favorite thing? Did we talk about this yet? Your absolute favorite thing? I think you said the people, but get into more specifics, both of you.
I think for me, you know what? It's just a fun atmosphere. You want to go to work, and I've worked at accounting firms. I worked at 9 to 5. If I had to go to the water cooler and hear one more story about this kid's baseball game on Saturday, I was going to kill myself.
Mhm.
This is a fun atmosphere. There's so many. It's ever changing. Scott and I were even talking yesterday. Sriracha's out of stock in the world, and we have 100 items on the menu with sriracha. What do you do?
Right.
It's always problem solving. It's just such a unique business.
So what do you do?
We're still working on that.
On sriracha?
I still have 2 bottles left, and we're going to make that
We're
work.
dripping them out with pinchers.
Have you ever
Yes.
tried to make your own sriracha?
So our chef over here tried it the other day, and
Yeah.
it was so terrible.
Terrible.
But yeah, maybe we can work on that.
Well, there's a lot of stores out there in the world. I hear they're going for like $100 a bottle.
So
Oh
this
my
is funny.
goodness.
Me and Scott, we go to Chinatown. Where do you think sriracha? It would have to be in Chinatown
Yeah.
somewhere. How many stores did we go to?
Well, I lost that bet. I said I'd find it within 6 stores. And
Scott's obsessed with this idea that he can find anything at any time. He's like, I'll go to Chinatown, I'll go to South Philly, I'll go to Westfield.
Must be in our DNA because I feel that way too.
Do you?
I'm going to find it.
That's how I kind of feel too.
I-
We're on week 1, still nothing.
Yeah.
12 stores in.
All right, so anybody, if you have sriracha,
Please send it to us. Yeah.
For
free
free.
drink,
Free
yes,
drink.
For
free
free.
drink,
Yeah.
free drink for sriracha maybe.
It's ridiculous. For me, listen, I love working with Lupa. That's why we decided to start this podcast. And for me, it's a fun business. But we've been talking for a while. We're just like, about social media and how things are growing and how we want to grow the business. And that's why, we decided, hey, let's have a little fun and get this out there, get you involved as well, keep us in line, and start building the business in a different way to me, that now every little step's exciting. Going from a little Rap Shack to a bigger Rap Shack in Rittenhouse Square down to 11th Street. But now this is the next step. And this is what we wanted to do, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it and keep it going. And hopefully we're gonna get a lot of guests on that know hopefully a little bit more than me about the restaurant business. And I feel 20 years in, but one thing I always say to Lupa, you can never stop learning.
Yep, that's 100% true. And for me, what makes what drew me to this podcast is whenever we would sit at a dinner table and you would tell me stories that came out, I always found them often shocking, entertaining, and that it deserved its own platform. And there's something because I love Philly.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I do love Philly. I think there's something about the environment here that is very interesting, worth talking about.
Well, when I was in real estate, just to say, I used to be in real estate. I had so many crazy stories dealing with properties and in Hunting Park area and everything. There was always an issue, crazy stuff. And I was like, I should write a movie about this. 20 years in the restaurant business, I could write a whole trilogy of movies.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Ring trilogy about everything that goes on. Every day is different. Every day is different. Every problem is different. Once we're done this podcast, I can't wait to hear the different issues that we have.
I'm sure. Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this up, and it's going to get into a lot more interesting ones, and we'll keep the drinks and the food flowing. So come visit us at Moriah and the Rap Shack.
This is Scott. Welcome to My Mayhem. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok at Organized Mayhem Podcast. Visit our website at rapshackpa.com and mariahphilly.com. Thanks again, and welcome to the Mayhem.